Perkyplanes and RC here, operating at 2.4 gigahertz, and I drank all my coffee. Well, time to switch over to the good old H2O. All right, guys, it is answer time. So I had posted here, a few weeks back that I was going to do another Q&A here on the channel. Basically, you guys leave me a comment with a question, and I will answer it. So here we are. Questions have been asked. I have, pretty much I'll let people ask questions up until the day of Halloween, and then after that, we're cutting it off. So, anyways, here we are. Let's address some of these questions and get you guys some answers. I'm going to first start off with the questions in the Facebook group. I'll let people go ahead and ask questions there as well. So let me dive into that. So we're going to do the Facebook questions first, and then we'll dive into the YouTube comments. So here is a question here from the Facebook group. Somebody named Cassie. She actually has the same last name as myself, and I'm pretty sure we're not related. I'll have to message her about that. I don't know. It's a small world out there, I tell you. Who is the prettiest woman you've ever seen? Laugh out loud trick question. Well, I will tell you, I judge beauty not just on physical appearance, but also it's also personality, other things as well. And the other big thing, of course, is for me is food. So a boy loves to eat, right? So I think I've had a little bit of a slight thing towards Little Debbie, and maybe I have a little thing for gingers. So like the girl from Wendy's, both have a really, really special place in my heart. I just some honorable mentions here as well. I think Amelia Earhart is a beautiful person, and even and another honorable mention as well is Gadget from Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. Right, she's a cute little mouse. I mean, what? No, in all seriousness, this Cassie person is really, really cute, really pretty. So, I think I would vote her as the top one there. All right, moving on. Let's go to the YouTube questions. First one, of course, is from Stacy Abshire. Favorite and least favorite thing with the RC hobby. I'll start off with the favorite. Probably the favorite thing for me is I guess I would say just how big it is. It's like there's something there for everyone. Um, if you're a person who likes to, well, first of all, um, you have RC airplanes, you have RC helicopters, you have of course drones, and quadcopters, even tricopters, um, and even people who do custom home built things that are completely out of that out of those groups, um, and and then on top of that, you have all these different avenues you could take. So if you're a person who just wants to get flying quick, you can buy something that's already ready to go, just needs a battery and and just needs charged up, and you're ready to fly it. So you have, of course, those groups. You have, if you're into RC planes, basically like I am, especially, you have so many different areas you can tackle. Like I said, you can buy a foam plane that's ready to fly just within a matter of minutes. You can take the approach of basically doing either electric, or you even have nitro and gas powered airplanes. You have planes that are, like I said, already ready to go, or you have planes that are basically just a pile of wood pieces that you can put together. Um, so you have that option as well. You have either you can fly line of sight, or kind of been a newer thing in recent years, FPV, to where you can actually put on some goggles and like you're doing first person stuff. So probably my favorite thing is just the variety of things that you can get into. So there's really something there for everyone. Um, some people may like the airplanes, some people may like the helicopters. Some people might like drones. I mean, there's just so many different things you could do, with it. And one thing I especially love about the hobby um, is it feels like even with this variety of things that you have out there, um, there's also things for different skill levels. There's things for different budgets. Um, you can you know pay some pay some pretty big bucks for something really super nice and fixed up and big and all that, or if you want to go super cheap and um, like for example, some of these flight test foam board airplanes that I've done, some of those are just absolutely pennies compared to some things. It's like you still there's something there for everyone, and it's I feel like the hobby is much more approachable now than what it has been. I feel like back in the past, you know, it was like it was like it was a hobby that only certain people were into, and now it's just so massive that just about anybody can get into it and find something that they enjoy. So that's what I like especially about it is least favorite thing about the hobby, and this actually kind of goes even with my favorite thing. Um, Unfortunately, is that we still or basically what it is that we have some people um, who think that their way is the only way. And I think that this goes not even just with the hobby, but just in general, like things. Just it doesn't apply just to the hobby, but how things are in general in our everyday lives. And what I'm saying is that people just think that it's their way or the highway. Um, People. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this sort of separation as well. Even though there's so many different options out there, there's this separation as well that's like well I fly this kind of plane and this is so much better than that kind. Or one I see an awful lot too is just the arguments over which radio is better. um, oh, you've got a Spectrum, it's going to have a bunch of brownouts, it's unreliable. um, and just things like that, people bickering and complaining and arguing over little things that just really shouldn't apply or shouldn't even matter. So um, stuff like that. I hate this. I do not like this separation that we have you know kind of got ourselves into, and people arguing over balsa being better than foam, and um, you know still swearing that glow engines are better than electric, and all this kind of um, dislike towards all these different avenues with the hobby. And because my personal belief is, if it's what you like doing, who cares? Do it, have fun, get out there, do your thing. Um, Forget the naysayers. Just get out there, do your thing, and have fun. Um, Forget people's opinions of what they think is right and wrong. As far as I'm concerned, we're all in this hobby together. We all have our own special interests, and I don't see any reason to put down anyone, for what they do. Um, I mean, yeah, I like foam board. I like some of the foam board airplanes. I like balsa planes. Um, I don't really have an issue as far as like electric is better than glow and gas or vice versa. To me, it's all good. It's all good. So that's kind of my thing. So yeah, the favorite being I love the how big the hobby is and how many different options we have. And the least favorite thing, of course, is how we separate those things and how we bicker amongst each other about those things. So, that's kind of that's it pretty much. So, very good question. Moving on here, let's go on to Mr. Borgonian Evolution. A good buddy of mine. We've been kind of chatting online about planes and life and things. Um, First question. Now you've had. He has a couple questions here. We'll go through. So, now you've had time on the Tyrannus and learned a lot of what it can do. What do you like to fly with the best, the FR Sky or the Spectrum? Honestly, I've really gotten super accustomed to the Tyrannus now and gotten very good with it. Um, to me, honestly, I mean, it's been a reliable system. It really has. I did have a few little quirks with the Spectrum. Nothing as extreme as what some people have encountered, but I've had a few little quirks here and there with it. My big thing is, honestly, at this point, is I can only afford so much, and the Tyrannus and OpenTX radios in general, to me, are much more affordable and much more realistic for me than Spectrum. I mean, I can't. Unfortunately, at this point in my life right now, you know, I have not won this big Powerball jackpot that's $1 billion or whatever. I have to kind of watch my spending, and to me, Tyrannus and OpenTX is kind of the way to go. And I think once I've kind of I've gotten past sort of that hurdle with the newness of OpenTX and Tyrannus, and basically I feel more comfortable with it. And honestly, at this point, it is so much more flexible and so much more what's so much more advanced, I think, for what can be done. So I feel like right now I've only scratched the surface of what it can do, and you know, it seems like there's so many more options out there that I need to explore with it, or that I can explore with it. So um, I like the OpenTX and the Tyrannus and all that. I think it's great, and I think it's definitely where I want to stay at this point. Like I said, if something changes, so be it. But for right now, I'm perfectly content with doing the OpenTX and Tyrannus. Um, so now something I have been kind of concerned about is I feel like that the radio I picked, it was just it was one I bought secondhand. Um, is I feel like it is an older radio, and I'm kind of wondering myself if I should switch over to a different Tyrannus, or switch over to a different OpenTX radio, because I'm not sure about. I've just been looking at things, and it seems like that this radio is super old. The protocol's been around for a very long time, um, and it makes me wonder if I should switch radios. Honestly, still stay with OpenTX, but switch to something that's a little more modern. Um, and I have been honestly debating on getting a getting some sort of multi-protocol adapter or multi-protocol radio, because I still do have a few Spectrum planes out here that I don't know if I can do much with, um, just because of the way they're designed. We'll see what happens, but I'm almost starting to want to lean towards maybe having a multi-protocol radio in the near future, or and like I said, maybe even just switching to a different OpenTX radio in general. So just something I'm debating, but we'll see what happens. Let me go on here to your next question here. Have I poked you enough with the luthier stick to form a guitar base build for the Great Guitar Build Off next year? April 1st starts build season there. Yeah, for those of you guys that are brand new to my channel, if there are anybody out there that is brand new, I am, of course, a musician. You can see the big guitar right here. Yeah, right there. Okay. So yeah, I am a musician. I am mainly a bass player, but I also play guitar as well. So me and him have been discussing this Great Guitar Build Off. So honestly, yes, I mean that's definitely been a big interest of mine, as well as doing guitars and playing bass and things like that. And so yes, I'm super seriously heavy wanting to do a bass build next year. Um, I think I've probably mentioned this, but one thing I do not have, and I have kind of wanted to have for a while, is a fretless bass. Something that kind of gives me that, almost upright kind of sound. So, yeah, I'm really anxious to try and dive into that. Um, I'm almost on the fence now if I want to do a fretless bass as my first guitar or my first bass build, or just do a standard, fretted one, just to kind of get the feel for it. So kind of on the fence about that one, but yes, I am probably going to be featuring or going to be doing a guitar, or we'll probably bass build, or doing a bass build next year. Um, for those of you guys that are interested in that, I will probably post that on my other channel, Wikipedia, once things kind of get going on with that. So if you're interested in guitars and bass guitars and music and things like that, I post most of all that stuff over on my little personal miscellaneous blog channel, Wikipedia. I'll provide a link down below if you guys want to check it out. Um, Something I do want to mention as well, in speaking of music, in recent months, I don't exactly know when I started, but I actually started introducing original music here on the channel that I had done. Um, so some of these most recent songs, little jams and things, and stuff like that, is some old stuff that I've had recorded and I'm featuring on the channel. So I'm kind of getting away from the prepackaged um, non copyright free music that's out there. No, my stuff is, or the stuff I'm featuring now is strictly music that I have created, recorded, played on, all that kind of stuff. So, moving on. Next question here. He asked me three questions. So, now that you have a pre-mandated fatherly obligation and Munchkin is fully mobile and full of energy, are you trick or treating this year, and what will you both go as? So, yeah, here it is. We just passed Halloween. And yes, our Munchkin is full of energy. So some funny things about her and trick or treating. First of all, I did not dress up. Um, it's been too crazy of it's just been too crazy of a time here this past month or so that I haven't even given any thought really to doing any kind of dress up for Halloween. So I did not dress up, unfortunately. Um, but of course, my daughter, she's all for that kind of thing. Here, I'll go ahead and provide y'all a picture here of her costume this year. She decided to go as a little cowgirl with a horse um, that just kind of slips on, over her clothes there. So that was her. That was her outfit this year. She picked it out herself. We tried everything from Paw Patrol to just a whole bunch of other stuff, but for some reason, just she gravitated towards this thing, and we thought it was the cutest thing ever. So, she absolutely loved it. Everyone loved her costume. It was just adorable. And my wife actually, I think the cowboy hat we sort of had, but my wife added some little crafty decorative trim to it and stuff. So, um, so yeah, that's what my daughter was this year for Halloween, and we did some trick or treating. At my mother in my mom's neighborhood, they get a lot of trick or treaters every year. Something funny about my daughter and trick or treating actually is she enjoys going out and getting the candy as much as any kid, but probably equally enough, she enjoys passing out candy to other kids as well. So she'll sit there and literally she was sitting there with us and she was doing the whole happy Halloween and giving kids candy and stuff. So she actually enjoyed that just as much as going out and getting candy herself. So just a cute little fun thing about it. All right, next question here from North 49 RC or Chris, I believe. Do you have plans to get into FPV? Um, well, actually, like anything, or pretty much how I am with the RC hobby in general, I'd love to do just about everything if I could. It seems like time and everything else just tends to, and other things in life just tend to sort of, you know, take over sometimes. Um, FPV has definitely been on my radar. I don't know how far I want to go with it, and what I actually want to get into. Um, I thought about just doing maybe just a basic drone to sort of get used to it, and just just basic flying around. I don't know if I'm going to get full on to like hardcore, just zipping in and out of things like some of these other people do out there. I might. You never know. I could very well gravitate, and grow into something like that. But yes, I would love to get into FPV sometime. Um, I'm not sure when it'll happen. Um, I might just get um, I might just get the energy one day and just decide I'm gonna go and pick up a small FPV setup and just attach it to an airplane, attach it to a drone, and just go to town. I don't know, but yes, I do eventually want to get into FPV and just sort of experience it. Um, I've often wondered myself if I might need to pop a Dramamine or two before I do it. I don't know, but we'll see. But yes, like I said, I do eventually want to get into FPV. Okay, next question here from Nola Deej. The movie Toy Soldiers plot point rests on the fact that the kids are able to swap out the transceivers from an RC plane and a bomb device. How much truth do you think there is to that? Um, Honestly, that's a interesting question. I honestly I've never seen the movie Toy Soldiers. I think I've heard of it, but I've never watched it. You guys can throw things at me if I because I haven't watched it yet. But yeah, just totally not expecting a question like this on with everything else. But and I can honestly say that uh, I do not, of course, I do not, of course, condone this type of activity. I will not do it myself either. So I'm not one to go attach bombs to anything, or anything of that nature. And I truly, truly hope that that does not become reality. Um, and if it does become reality, then we have some people that need to be locked away. But to answer the question there, um, I feel as if that I feel as if honestly that if anybody has that kind of mindset and the knowledge and the drive, then anything is possible. Like I said, I do not encourage that. Obviously, I that it just gets to me. Um, but I think, like I said, if you've got that kind of mindset, I think that if you have that and like just that sort of devious mind to want to do something like that, and if you have the knowledge to do something like that, then yes, it is possible. I would say, um, with any kind of explosive uh, things, basically you need and this just we're just using a car for example, just using a car. You have your gasoline, which is of course your flammable explosive material, and what do you apply to that to get the engine to start? You have to have a spark, right? Something to sort of start that chain reaction to ignite the gasoline and causing the engine to run. So in the case of this, I would think it's probably no different. You have an explosive device and probably some sort of electronic spark, electronic igniter of some sort, and RC airplanes do have small electronic devices in them, servos, for example, that control the ailerons and the control surfaces. Electric current does pass through those. So, um, so yeah, like I said, I can't say it enough. I truly do not encourage the activity at all. Um, and there is a place for those people that do want to, do that type of activity. And like I said, myself, I will never do something like that. I don't have that kind of mindset. But is it possible? Yes. Um, anything is possible if you have basically anything is possible if you have some sort of explosive combustible material and a spark to ignite it. So, not much any different really right there. So, um, and it makes me now with your question, it makes me almost want to get the watch the movie Toy Soldiers and see what it's all about. So, um, all right, guys. Well, that is it. Got all the questions and got those questions, got an answer to them. So that is all. Um, aside from that, that is all from me. I feel like I've talked enough, anyways. Like I said, I got all your questions answered. I might start making this a yearly. Might start making this like a yearly thing. Maybe every year I'll do a Q&A or something like that. So just a thought. But anyways, like I said, that is all. So I do want to thank all you guys for your questions. Cassie, Nola Deej, uh, Burgundian Evolution, Chris, North 49 RC, uh, and of course Stacy Abshire too. Thank you guys all for your questions. Um, that's it, guys. So, well, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.